Hello and welcome back. This episode is a pretty straightforward one, so I'll just say that you can find the PDF file down in the description, as always, and that to start things off, all we'll need to do is roughly cut out one of the circular shapes and glue that to some thin cereal box style cardboard. Though I suppose you could use sticky back paper instead, or maybe print straight onto some cardstock. All that really matters is that the design is stuck or printed onto something that's not too flimsy, so that when we cut it to size, we end up with something like this. Okay, next we're going to take something with a sharp point, so I'll just use these scissors here, and we'll use those to make a small hole in the very centre of the piece. So there you go, something like that. Then we'll do the same thing with all of the other circles. Next we'll need to take a brad or a split pin. I'm not 100% sure what they're called, but yeah, we'll take one of those and we'll push that through all of the circles, starting with the smallest and then working our way up to the largest one. Then we can flip it over, fold out either side of the pin, and with any luck, that should result in something that looks like this. So let's assume that this handout represents a magical lock on a door or something like that, and that the players need to solve a riddle to unlock it. So all they'll need to do is rotate the circles to spell out the answer to the riddle, so tree in this example, and the door should open. But tree, that's not the only word that you can spell, and here's several more that you might like to use, though you will of course need to make up your own clues or riddles. And thanks to a few people on Discord, Facebook and so on, here's a few other words in a couple of different languages, because, you know, not everyone plays in English, though I'm sure there's plenty more. And as I say, this puzzle could be part of a door, so the circles would be on one side with a more mundane mechanism on the other. Or it could be located on a wall, or in an alcove perhaps. Or maybe it's part of a sarcophagus, or an altar, or anything like that. Though, that being said, you could just take this miniature version here and glue that to whatever works best for you. So yeah, that's all there is to it really, but if you want a quick example of how it could be used in play, well, I'll have a go at that next. Okay then, let's say that the players are already in possession of the first 3 rings of the puzzle. Perhaps they found them earlier in the adventure, or maybe they were given them as part of a quest. But unknown to them is the fact that they're actually missing the final ring, so any attempt to figure out as many 3-letter words as possible before reaching the puzzle room, that's going to be largely wasted. Anyway, when they do finally reach the puzzle room, maybe there is some kind of stone guardian that is in possession of the final ring. Depending on its size, it could be wearing it around its neck, its arm, its leg, whatever, and if the characters try to remove it, that's when it springs to life. So, for the creature itself, you could maybe use the stats of a gargoyle for a low-level party, or a stone golem perhaps for higher levels, and the creature will simply attack the closest party member, or, if it has the opportunity, focus on the PC who's holding the other pieces of the puzzle. Or maybe it ignores the PC holding the other pieces of the puzzle. You know, whatever works best for the adventure that you're running. But yeah, once the Guardian has been dealt with, one way or another, the characters can retrieve the final piece of the puzzle, piece it all together, and place it into the very obvious space in the final door. And as soon as the rings are in place, maybe a magic mouth appears and speaks a riddle, or magical writing forms above the door, and once that happens, the players now have a limited amount of time to solve the riddle. Now, if you like, you could probably give those people that are playing characters with a high intelligence score a bit longer to solve the riddle than those that are playing characters with lower scores, just to try and simulate the fact that smarter PCs might have a better chance of solving the riddle than those that have intelligence as a dump stat. Anyway, once the time is up, if the circles haven't been placed in the correct position, some kind of trap is triggered maybe, just causing minor damage, after which the magic mouth speaks a different riddle and we start the countdown again. Now, obviously, this does mean that you'll need to come up with half a dozen riddles to cycle through, but I think it should be a fun little encounter. Though, you can of course just ignore everything I've just said and come up with your own ways of using the handout instead. Anyway, thanks for watching as usual. I know there wasn't a lot of crafting in this episode, but I hope it's something that you can still find a use for anyway. So yeah, thanks again, and bye for now.